Good evening, everyone. Please stand as we sing our national anthem. Thank you, everyone.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Kia ora whānau. And welcome, school family, to the Longbird Adventist College LAC 104th Annual Graduation. A particular welcome to Dr. Lindsay Morton from Avondale College, Australia, Ian McKelvey, MP for Rangatiki, Kate Ford from the Ministry of Education, Danny Carrasco, Associate Seventh-day Education Director, the Board of Trustees, the Board Chair, Graham Drinkle, parents, grandparents, family members and friends. And also a welcome to those of you around New Zealand and the South Pacific who are watching on live stream. I pray that tonight is a memory that you shall store away, an opportunity to celebrate and reflect on what the next steps forward will be.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Mashana Inger and this is Bradley Goldstone. First of all, we'd just like to thank you all for coming this evening. It's such a blessing to see so many familiar faces and to see how far and wide you guys have travelled to come and support us and celebrate the successes of our amazing new group. This evening I've been given the privilege to share scripture reading, and the verse that I thought was the most appropriate is the one that has really had the most impact on our year in the weeks leading up to this event. Some of you may have seen it. It's on our levers jumpers and it's inscripted on the back, and it's one that for me personally has really motivated me and keep me going to finish the year on a high note. So it is found in 2 Timothy 1 verse 7. For the Spirit God gave us does not make us timid, but gives us power, love, and self-discipline. To my fellow youth year teams, I hope that you carry this verse with you and that it encourages you to embrace what we've learned here at LAC. I hope that you carry God with you always, wherever you go in the next chapter of your lives.
Can you please all bow your heads as I pray? Dear Lord, thank you for this special day. Be with us as we celebrate the achievements of our studies. Please be with every one of the graduates and their soon approaching future. I pray for all those that could not make it tonight. I also pray for the families who are here today and all the sacrifices they have made for their children. Lord, I pray for a special blessing on all the teachers and that they continue to influence and inspire the youth of tomorrow. In your heavenly name, amen.
Good evening, Mr. Van Oosbane, distinguished guests, faculty, friends, family, and of course, the graduating class of 2016. My name is Lindsay Morton. I'm a lecturer at Avondale College. I am also the Assistant Dean of Learning and Teaching in the Faculty of Arts, Nursing and Theology. But tonight I feel a little bit like I've come home. I want to start with a word of thanks, and that's to Mr. Van for this wonderful invitation. It's such a pleasure to be here. At college, we're in one of the busiest times of the year at the moment. Next week will be our last week of classes, followed very quickly by exams, but I wouldn't have missed this for the world. In fact, my only regret about this occasion is that I have to wear this hat. My colleagues back home refer to it as the oversized pin cushion, and one of your lovely graduates tonight wondered if I was the Joker. No, young man, but that was a good joke. Symbolically, though, I'm reminded that this is actually a certificate that says that I'm qualified to teach. So while it's on my head, it's probably a good reminder to say something useful with the time I have, and I'll try and do that this evening. I must say that graduation speeches are a pretty tough gig. The brief is to address an intimidatingly good-looking bunch of young adults who you don't know, and most of whom don't know you, and a room full of people who are hanging out to see who's going to win the awards and who the head boy and head girl will be for the next year. And you hope to make a speech that at worst won't put anyone to sleep, but at best might inspire people to chase their dreams and reach for the stars and all of those good things. And all of this is supposed to happen in 10 minutes or less. Like I said, it's a tough gig. But as inspiring speeches have never really been my forte, tonight I thought I'd go with something that is my strength, and that is research. That's right, graduating class of 2016, I've researched you. And don't worry, that doesn't mean I've Googled you individually. I haven't been Facebook stalking you or Instagram, anything like that. Instead, I decided to go to the experts to find out a little bit more about your generation and what it thinks about the big wide world that you are just about to walk into. The first question I asked is what to call you. It turns out that the answer to that question is not at all simple or straightforward. A quick literature search turns out a long list of names. You all have been called Generation Z, or just Gen Z, post-millennials, the I generation, or iGen, the Homeland generation, Gen Tech, Gen We, Net Gen, digital natives, neo-digital natives, the pluralist generation, or just plurals, and the list goes on and on. And tonight I'm really feeling for your parents and grandparents here who just got baby boomers or Gen X. So after that, my second question was, do these so-called experts who are trying to define you as a generation have it right? And to find an answer to that question, I decided to go to the source of all collective wisdom and the repository of cultural truth, the MTV website. That's right, MTV conducted a survey just last year asking young adults born in the mid-1990s to early 2000s what they wanted their generation to be known as. The winning term was founders, and it won in a landslide victory. Nathan Heller of another cultural bastion, The New Yorker, thinks this is actually a very appropriate name for you. An n-gram frequency count on the term founder in texts published since the 1700s show that this term reappears every time an upsurge happens in market enterprise. That means that founders typically value innovation, creativity, networking, social solidarity, and faith in the market and small business in particular. In this, founders live with their hands wide open. They are ready and they're excited about what is going to be the next big thing. And unlike many of us, they see disruption as an opportunity to be creative and solve problems. But according to the literature, this optimism competes with some of the things that you have inherited from previous generations, and postmoderns in particular. Skepticism, distrust of large corporate organisations, distrust of education systems, news media, politicians, and the church. In fact, some sources indicate that founders are following millennials right out the door of churches in the Western world, and this is a big cause of concern for us as parents, teachers, and all those who have traditionally found a home for their faith in the church. But as I look at these statistics, I find myself asking, if this is true, can we really blame you? What have we done as educators, as culture makers and church leaders to produce a generation that looks on the world with one eye closed, skeptically, pragmatically, and always challenging the status quo? As educators, we tell you that we value individual expression while we push you through uniform curriculum in classrooms that look much the same from school to school and country to country, and even clothes that are also, if you'll pardon the pun, uniform. We tell you that we value creativity, but we force you through the same hurdle requirements and assess you against predetermined standards that value only a particular type of intellect. We tell you that we value community and collaboration, and then we make you compete with each other for grades, tertiary entrance rankings, university places, and jobs. As a church, traditionally we have told you that we are saved by grace alone, but then there are certain rules to be followed, just to make sure. We have told you that we affirm there is neither Jew nor Gentile, slave nor free, male nor female, but then we told women to sit down, stand down, and be quiet. We have told you that we are all about reaching people with the Adventist message that Jesus is coming soon, and he is. But we've often failed to preach that the kingdom is here, now, today. And worse, sometimes we fail to live it. Given all of this, my third and final question for this evening is this. Do I judge this generation for its distrust of words, for its skepticism, for its frustration, and for its calling out our complacency, illogical rules, and inconsistent doctrine? You bet I do. I judge you to be in the best position to reflect back to me my own blind spots, prejudices, and weaknesses. I judge you able to evaluate whether my words match up with my actions. I judge you, in short, worthy of being my teachers. I mentioned at the start of this speech that this hat is symbolic of the fact that I have a certificate to teach. In that spirit, tonight, I'm going to take my hat off to you, both symbolically and literally. On this evening, where you cross a threshold to become fully fledged citizens of this beautiful country, I take off this symbol that says that I'm qualified to teach in honour of your capacity to teach me. And I believe that they're ready. As MTV President Sean Atkins has commented, founders have this self-awareness that systems have been broken, but they cannot, and I would add, you will not be the generation that says we'll break it even more. Tonight, graduating class of 2016, I commend to you what is already in your hands. We need your skepticism to keep us honest. We need your innovative spirit to solve some pretty big problems that previous generations have created. We need your thirst for authenticity to ensure that we don't settle for easy answers or pay lip service to the things that really matter. And to your parents, teachers and loved ones, tonight I commend to you this group who will have to negotiate tensions between trust and suspicion, optimism and doubt, creativity and conventionality, tradition and innovation for the rest of their lives. We will do our best by them and for them as we learn from their struggles, even as we relate our own to them, especially because we have so many in common. And finally, lest I've destroyed anyone's faith in the power of education and the relevance of the church during the course of this speech, and here's my shameless plug, don't say you weren't expecting it. If you do decide to follow your dreams, to reach for the stars, and this decision leads you to Avondale College, let me assure you that we start from the premise that truth, with a capital T, is a person. It is a unique but profound epistemological first principle, and it means that all other truths, small t truths, personal truths, universal truths, provisional truths, truths that oppress, truths that bind up, truths that silence, expel, or delegitimize must be examined through the person of Jesus Christ and the fruits of the Holy Spirit. In my class, at least, everything else is up for discussion, and that's a very exciting place to be. But wherever the next bend in your road leads you, I pray that God will go before you and beside you as you enter the next stage of your journey with one eye closed and both hands open. God bless you all, and congratulations.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Jotham Tsesese. I'm not year 13, I am year 11, and this is Lillian Kaiwai, and she's year 13, and this is my sister Shekinah Tsesese, and we'll be singing a song called Look For Me, written by Rusty Goodman.
When you finally make your entrance to that city of jasper walls and bright gold avenue, as you behold all its beauty and its splendor, remember there's just one request I make of you. Look for me, for I will be there too. I realize when you arrive, there'll be so much to view. After you've been there 10,000 years, a million, maybe two. Look for me, for I will be there too. As you go down your list of first, there's no question you want to see your loved ones waiting there for you. And when you feel you shared your story with the blessed one that wants to hear you tell just how you made it through. Good for me. I'd like to hear it too. I realize when you arrive, there'll be so much to you after you've been there 10,000 years, a million, maybe two, for me, for I will be there too. Look for me, for I will be there too. I realize when you arrive, there'll be so much to view after you've been there 10,000 years, a million, maybe two. Look for me, for I will be there too. Look for me, for I will be there
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's nice to be here, and this is your board chair speaking. And I have to say I've done no research whatsoever for what I'm about to share with you. But I must say, of the many boards and committees and functions that I have to attend in my working life, it would be fair to say that Longburn Adventist College graduation is one of the most exciting. And part of that reason is because tonight we're celebrating. I'm not here to wrestle budgets or give people the good news. They never take it as good news, but I think it's good news. And it's nice to see another group of students finishing one chapter in their life, breathing a sigh of relief, except probably when I was here. I saw them in their school uniforms, and they've completely changed. They look like adults, well, you are adults. And I thought, where did all those Year 13s go? And I wanted to be here with you tonight. And as I was thinking about 2016, some of the events that have happened this year seem a long time ago. And if you've been following the news, of course, ISIS is still in our headlines. Who can forget the US presidential elections? That's thrust down our throats every time you turn on the news. But fortunately, that'll be finished next week. Of course, Britain decided to leave the European Union. And Brexit was the word of the day. One of our donors to Longburn Adventist College suddenly passed away. 60 years of age, and his life is short. You can breathe a sigh of relief and say, I've finished Year 13, that's my schooling finished. And you'll start to look forward to what is in front of you. But if I could just share with you one sage piece of advice that a good friend of mine shared with me recently. She said this to me, and I want to share it with you. Do not accept badly made cups of tea. Do not surround yourself with people who make them. They don't care about you. So as I think about the board and what we do on the board, and we're a faceless group of people, although I've exposed myself now tonight, and we do a lot of exciting things, some of which you may agree with, some of which you may not. But I just want to point out two things which I think were a particular highlight this year. 2016, we had our friends from the Education Review Office come and visit us. And we had quite an interesting conversation with them. And I'm proud to say that Longburn continually has good results with our students, particularly in NCEA, that are well above the national standards. And in one of the conversations we had, and we're explaining how we did that, and that didn't quite fit within the boxes that they obviously had to tick. And they said to us, well, maybe you want to try some things. And Brendan and I said, well, we've got great results, what else is there to try? And I think one of the reasons why we continually get these good results is because we provide a good education environment, one that I'm proud of. And I think the fact that you've chosen Longburn as your school of choice for your child means that you agree with us. And in fact, it goes beyond that, because 2 of our staff got married this year. And so we obviously provide a good environment of love. In fact, when I was here during the ERO visit, I happened to go over to the cafeteria, and it was lunchtime, and I was very pleased to see some big round tables there, and students of all ethnic backgrounds were sitting around having lunch, having a laugh and having a good time, and to me that signifies success at Longburn Evans College. And speaking of the cafeteria, I hope you've availed yourself of that fine building. It's gone through a recent upgrade, a much needed upgrade, and I'm very pleased with the result, and I hope you are. And I particularly want to thank Stuart Taylor, one of our board members, who almost single-handedly drove that project, and we particularly wanted to get it finished in time for graduation. And thank you, Stuart, and those that helped you. This year also was a changing of the guard, if you will. The previous board that we had for 3 years, the elections came up, and I want to particularly thank the previous board, or the outgoing board, whose term finished around September. Talia Grayson, who was the teacher representative, Peter Stimpson, Masesi Mao, Simone Delilah Lomaloma, Stuart Taylor, Glennis Ellis, Steve Agar, Nolan King, Kirsty Brooking, and the student representative, Michael Wilson, who's here with a camera somewhere. And they've done a fantastic job, and I should particularly point out the student rep, because for a lot of students that come onto the board, this is something foreign. They're sitting there with a group of adults. But Michael was one of those student reps who was prepared to speak from the very first meeting, and made actually a valuable contribution, I would think. And of course I want to welcome the new board. Talia Grayson is still our staff representative, Rochelle Cheeseman, Stephanie Horn, Robin Beals, Peter Stimpson, Stuart Taylor, Pastor Eddie Tupai, Steve Agar, Nolan King, and our new student rep, Shireen Kua. I hope I pronounced that correctly. And of course, we have a new principal this year. And I remember walking into the principal's office and seeing a new face. Well, I say new face. And it was interesting to watch a changing of the guard. And I remember the first time I came down here this year, and I walked into what is now Brendan's office, and he was looking at all these pieces of paper on his desk. And I could see his mind turning over, thinking, some genie has come along when my back's turned and put more paper on my desk. And I said, welcome to the role of principal. And I think, Brendan, I've been pleased with your transition, and I think you've done a fantastic job, and it is a steep learning curve, and Brendan's done it well. I hope you still get sleep at night, and look forward to continuing to work with you. And of course, Ros Burnett is the new Deputy Principal who came from the Seventh Avenue School in Auckland. And I want to just, in closing, pay particular thanks to Mr. Walsh, Stan Walsh. We honour you, we salute you, and we thank you for 42 years of faithful service to the education community. And Stan was just telling us before in the staff room as we gathered to come in that I think this is your 20th graduation at Longburn Evans College, which you've organised. And I want you to join me in thanking Stan for doing that. Like Lindsay, if I had a hat, I would take it off for you, Stan, because 42 years is a real good effort. I wouldn't last 42 minutes in the front of the classroom. And in closing, I want to thank you again for choosing Longburn Evans College. We know that there are other schools you could choose, and we're grateful that you've chosen Longburn Evans College, and I hope that we've lived up to your expectations. And to the staff sitting here behind me, thank you to each one of you for the excellent work that you do. People who are not in the education community tell me that teachers must have the best job in the world because they only work from 9 till 3, 40 weeks of the year. Being married to a teacher, I can assure you that is not the case. And again, these staff that you see here are also help us get the good results that we have. And I want to thank all of you for the work that you do. And I wish you well over the Christmas New Year period. And to each one of you, God bless you. Thank you for being part of our community. We look forward to seeing some of you back again next year, not the year 13s. You can have a year off. And thank you for choosing us.
Good evening once again. Graduation is an opportunity to celebrate the victories and identify the next steps forward. As a school, LAC has much to celebrate in 2016. In 2012, 45 students began in Year 9. In 2016, there are 50 students on the stage graduating tonight. The group has grown. In the movie Hunt for the Wilder People, the social worker makes the comment, "Leave no one behind." We added 5 more. I'm glad to report all the 2012 Year 9s are accounted for. The Ministry of Education would say we have a retention rate of 111%. The Maths Department and I are struggling with this figure, but I suspect it's not too bad. Nationally, it's approximately 70%. LAC students tend to stay till the end of Year 13, and they achieve. As is often the case, students come to LAC with their individual stories, often seeking answers. All the Year 13 students have met the graduating standard, which essentially ensures they will gain NCA Level 3. A small group have individualised goals, and they are graduating tonight too, and they give me great pleasure. And we will talk more about them later. Many have done far better. 10 students will gain excellence, 5 will be sitting scholarship, and these retention rates and academic results will far exceed national averages. The Education Review Office, ERO, visited in July. ERO asked for the question, or shall I say, asked for the percentages. Show us the percentages. And I said, we don't work in percentages, we work with individuals. There was a pregnant pause. And then I gave them the percentages. LAC is unapologetically in the business of relationships, not numbers. And I want each of you students to understand that, but I don't need to tell you, do I? I know far too much about you, and I won't share any of that tonight. Subject options in the senior school will expand in 2017. After consultation with students in the community, I'm pleased to welcome accounting, media studies and hospitality into the senior curriculum. I'm particularly excited about the new hospitality room, which we'll be able to use alongside our commercial kitchen, opening up a whole new pathway for a number of students. But above all, Bible is what excites me most. It is the foundation and forum for asking the most important questions. When I was 13 or 14, I refused to go to a Catholic school. I told my mother, what gives them the right to tell me what is right or wrong? And she told me to go and see the priest. Pretty bold 13, 14-year-old that I went to the priest. But 2 nuns intercepted me. And they said to me, you can't ask that question. I went home and I told my mother the story, and she let me go to a state school. It was a long time later that I found the Adventist church. It was some time later that Mr. Walsh in Napier, visiting one day, found me and led me to LAC. And that in itself is a story. And in a strange quirk of events, I went from a state school, Decile 3, the Ganglands, to becoming the deputy principal of a Christian school. And what did my mother ask me? What gives you the right to tell students what is right and wrong? Mothers have long memories. Boys, wives have longer memories. I said to my mother, I have no right to tell students what is right and wrong. But I am obliged to ask them, or to ensure that they ask the question for themselves. LAC is a minority, one of a minority of Protestant schools that has Bible taught as a subject, all the way to year 13. Bible has 24 level 3 credits, and Bible is one of the subjects able to be used for university entrance. It dumbfounds me that Christian schools make God's word optional. Students must choose what they believe, but we must ensure that they have a choice. And Mrs. Iono and I have had very initial discussions around the possibility of hosting a national conference for secondary schools who would like to introduce religious instruction into their curriculum. For those of you who do not know, one of Mr. Walsh's legacies is that he co-wrote the very first Bible Achievement Standards, and I congratulate him and thank him for that. Boarding numbers have increased significantly over the last 4 or 5 years. We were around the mid-30s 4 or 5 years ago. Last year we were at 55, and this year we're at 72. Great stories happen in the dorms. Some would be better described as minor miracles. I can't share those minor miracles with you because they're not really for public consumption. But we, the staff, know that it happens. And I want to acknowledge Mr. and Mrs. Henry for what they do in the dorms. The dorms are an extended family, whānau, and those values seep into the day school. I'm also pleased that the dorms have a totally refurbished cafeteria. It is the place we sit down and break food together. The kitchen should always be the heart of the family. Well, that's what Mrs. Henry says anyway. Well done, Mrs. Henry, and thank you to Mr. Taylor once again for his dedication to this project. Perhaps Taylor's Cafe has a nice ring to it. Mr. Sharp warned me that the most dangerous decision was picking colours. What I found out, Bruce, was that what is equally dangerous is picking curtains. So thank you to the curtain subcommittee. They are perfect. If anyone disagrees, my advice is that they are to keep that opinion to themselves. Our involvement in the community, service to others, the mission trip to Vanuatu, the 40-hour famine, where we gained the Platinum Award, Mufti Day fundraisers, Relay for Life, helping with Weet-Bix triathlons, Operation Christmas Child are all highlights. But CRE, Christian Religious Education, does have a special place in my heart. It's a program where a number of Year 13 students go into a state primary school to teach Bible stories to young students. Remember when you were 17. Imagine the courage required to take the word out into the world and in the role of a teacher at 17. I congratulate those students, particularly who did that. I think that's very brave and courageous. I respect that. Thank you to the individual teachers who put in extraordinary time to make these events and experiences happen. Unsurprisingly, LAC is well overrepresented in students becoming teachers and nurses, both hugely service-focused industries. 59% of students choose to play sport at LAC, not forced. Again, this is significantly above the Manawatu Secondary School average of 54. More pleasingly, the numbers continue to grow, particularly for the boys. At LAC, you will not be relegated to the 5th team. Chances are you are in the team and you belong. The senior boys going to nationals early in the year was a joy. Through the wins and losses, it was their team spirit that excited me the most. It is the same in basketball, hockey, football, and so many other sports. At LAC, you belong. You are in the team. My wife would say I have a way with children. We look forward to the junior girls volleyball team going to Wellington later this month and the stories they'll bring home. I wish them well for the fundraising. If you wish to buy a ticket for next week's meal, see Mrs. Pucky. Can Mrs. Pucky please stand up? Where are you, Mrs. Pucky? Please stand up. If you wish to buy a ticket, Mrs. Pucky is available. And if you simply want to give to Mrs. Pucky, I'm sure she will be very grateful. And the mention of Mrs. Pucky and Mrs. King brings me to my greatest joy, watching the staff putting the students first. It is easy to say that we are in the business of relationships, but the most important resource in the school, the staff, have to believe it, think it, and do it, and I applaud them. This year, the Year 13s put on a surprise meal for us in the staff room, wrote cards for the staff, did the crossword with the staff crossword team, and prayed with the staff. I suspect they simply wanted to give something back. Unofficially, Eero said that LAC is uniquely unique, which is code for we don't know how to explain this. We come from many backgrounds. I love the ethnic dress that some of you are wearing tonight. I applaud that. We all come from many different backgrounds. We all belong. And almost all succeed. This year, all in Year 13 did. Officially, Eero said, all staff successfully integrate a focus on promoting student well-being alongside achievement. Positive, trusting and fair student-teacher relationships are the basis for teachers to build their holistic knowledge of learners. For those of you that speak English, we get along and good things are happening. The Minister of Education set a target of 85% for all student leavers to have gained NCA Level 2. Currently we are at 94% and we have never been below the goal. All ethnic groups are above 85%, bar one, which is at 84%. Eero applauded the fact that we compare ethnic group results to national averages rather than national ethnic group averages to make it look better. I stated that people do not fail to succeed because of their ethnic background. Rather, a lack of hope, support and connectedness for whānau is what causes failure, no matter what your story is. I want to thank all the staff once again for their input into the students on the stage, but particularly Mrs. Ono, the Year 13 Dean. Many of you have suffered from Mrs. Ono. Her tenacity, reminders, attention to detail, reminders, goals, plans, chats, discussions, reminders, and ultimatums, and you are the better for it. There are some of you who are on stage tonight that I have absolutely no doubt that if you were at any other school, you probably wouldn't even be in Year 13, let alone succeed at Year 13. And Mrs. Ono has a lot to answer for or to be proud of. Along with others, she put you first. Such is love. A lot of celebration, but what are the next steps forward? Mr. Walsh, our AP, and Mrs. Jackson, one of our intermediate teachers, are both retiring. Mr. Walsh has given LAC 42 years of service, and Mrs. Jackson has given LAC 24 years of service, working in education for over 40 years. While their retirement is tinged with sadness, their careers are impressive. I was very pleased, in fact, exceptionally pleased, to gain Mrs. Jackson's blessing. I was a bit concerned when she came to my office, but she gave me her blessing when Mrs. Pucky was announced as her replacement. Mrs. Pucky is an excellent teacher who I'm very happy to have in the intermediate department. Mrs. Jackson's blessing does not come easily or lightly. Another step forward in 2017 and 18 is the refurbishing of the gym, and almost certainly the gym floor. There are also a range of ideas in how we can bring sport alongside academic subjects in the curriculum. The idea of a basketball academy has been suggested, and it'll be interesting to see if this idea gains traction. In 2016, the area I have seen the greatest growth is in digital technology that is being used by students and staff alike, both in and out of the classroom. Mrs. Cortea, Mrs. Narepa, and the Fast and Curious Staff Technology Group have developed a draft strategic plan. This signals the school's desire to embrace IT. LAC's IT vision is to grow a digital environment where learning, ethics and relationships are the focus. Not simply learning how to use technology, but how to use it for good. After all, intelligence without wisdom is like a child with a loaded gun. The world already has enough intelligent terrorists. The staff, I want to thank you one last time for the productive year we've had. Thank you for preparing our children for their future. And I want to just skip to the Bible verse that the Year 13s have selected. For the Spirit God gave us does not make us timid, but gives us power, love and self-discipline. 2 Timothy 1:7. Timid, showing a lack of courage or confidence, or in another sense, to be easily frightened. Perhaps there is an internal battle that exists in each of us. Are we good enough? If we rely on ourselves, our sinful nature, our poor decisions can easily be replayed over and over to remind us that we are not good enough. Memories we've stored away to remind us we're not good enough. We might become fearful and timid, afraid of what we are. As I shared earlier this week, a possum caught in the headlights. On the other hand, we might pretend that we are amazing, thus creating an arrogance that attempts to protect us from life's arrows. Or perhaps, just maybe, we will escape from reality, only letting in what we want, pretending that it's all good. Each of these ideas hardly sounds like the life you or I would desire. When we choose God, we do not become perfect, but we are connected to perfection. A perfect love that puts me and you first at the foot of Calvary. An awareness develops that there is an unconditional love and an eternal hope. Then you will be filled with an energy and a tingle that goes down your back, that you might be connected to perfection. It's undeniable. When we choose God, there is nothing to fear. You will be powerful. loving, and desire to grow closer to Him. People will become attracted to you, not in the worldly sense, but you will have something that they want. People will become attracted to you and to God because you will simply be happy and a light unto the world. Tonight, when the festivities are over, quietly and by yourself, look into the night sky and tell me that it is not so. When we choose God, there is nothing to fear. You will be powerful, loving, and desire to grow closer to Him. People will become attracted to you and to God because you will be happy and a light unto the world. So to all the Year 13s, thank you for the shared memories, and remember, you will always be LAC.
Congratulations, Year 13. All the successes you've had is proof you're here sitting here. Don't forget you have been our friends and our family, you to prosper because God's power lives in you. We love you and we thank you for allowing us to be a part of your life. The Hari is our school magazine, and every year we pay tribute in acknowledging 2 staff members for their contributions to our school. Before I announce that, I want to take this time to acknowledge Stan Walsh and Diane Jackson. Their many years of service to our school, churches and communities has been profound. I myself, like many, many more, have had the honour to learn in their classroom. I want to thank you for having a passion for teaching, a passion for your students, and a passion for God. I love you both so deeply, and the deep respect and admiration that I have for you, Mr. Walsh and Miss Jackson, will last a lifetime. I want to invite Mr. Walsh to the stage, and if Miss Jackson is here, no, but I want to invite Mr. Walsh to the stage because I actually want him to present our Haris to our staff this evening.
Yeah, I didn't expect to get this. I'm hoping honoured and privileged to receive this. Thank you very much.
Thank you, LAC. It is an honour to be in the school, to see the students. Thank you.
Wow, look at all these shiny adults sitting there. I think we can give them a big applause. A warm welcome to our dignitaries on the stage and in the audience, as well as families who have travelled far and near for this auspicious occasion. Tonight it is my utmost pleasure to present your child, our LAC child, God's child, with the fruits of their achievement. Every student's journey has been vastly different. This year, each of us succeeded where they thought they wouldn't. Year 13, graduating class of 2016. Your journey has been my journey. Your tears, mine. Yes, indeed, your success has been my joy as well. Some of you have dragged your feet to the finish line, while others have sprinted, crossing that finish line, not stopping for a breath. I want to just focus a little on your verse that you've chosen this evening, 2 Timothy. Does not make us timid, but gives us power. Power is a wonderful word, a very contrasting word, a word full of variety. He does not give us a spirit of timidity, but gives us power, love, and this last word, it's a word that you probably know I love, self-discipline. Indeed, all those qualities you have shown this year, all at different degrees. Perhaps some do need to practice a little bit of that self-discipline, but that's okay. You will increase and you will grow in understanding that. Self-discipline is a word that continually catches my eye. With God, self-discipline is an active ingredient in any successful journey. Our God, your God, all of our God, is a God of order, and I love order. An excellent quote that I love, it's one that I have really grown fond of. The true measure of a man is how he treats someone who can do him absolutely no good at all. I like this quote because it reminds me of all the people that have had an input in your life. The teachers behind you, your families, everybody has had some working within your life, and it has been significant. And so in the context of this quote, I want to one of the key factors, a servant heart. You did not get where you are without the input of other people, so just keep that in mind. I'd like to ask the audience to stand. If you could all stand, all, and give me, you, I may be your teacher, I may be your dean, than I could ever think. So thank you very much, graduating year of 2016. I am so proud of each one of you. We do have to have these preliminaries, but we are going to move on to these awards. I'll just give you a little rundown of how it's going to work so that we have a little bit of order. Each student will receive their graduation certificate. The certificate testifies the student has achieved Bible and has earned 60 in their trial exams. The official national qualification will be awarded to them next year once all the exams have been marked around the country. But tonight, we award each student our own LAC graduation certificate to mark having completed your schooling here at LAC. We've also made a calculation based on the internal achievement standard credits they've earned and on the results of their trial exams that they recently completed on their level 3 or excellence. 50 credits at this level. With other certificates from individual teachers for the work they have done in class. These may be for most improved, consistent. These certificates will be sporting and other awards earned by individuals throughout the year. I'll begin with the graduation committee students and then continue with the rest of the year group. Some details of their year will be described along with the certificates they have been awarded for classwork. I'd like to present Carthew. She helped organise the Leavers jersey this year. Next year, Jessica is going to Otago University to study health sciences. She receives awards for highest grade in Bible and history, which each come with $50, and general excellence in biology and English. She receives a medal for being the most valuable player for the senior girls basketball. Jessica Carthew is a graduate of LAC in 2016 with excellence. Mashana Engu. Mashana has been at LAC for 7 years. Over the course of this year, she has been captain for the senior girls basketball team. She was the Luther House captain and is a vice president on the graduating committee. Mashana participated in the Pacifica Fusion in the visual arts category. Her eye for creativity is evident through her scholarship photography boards. The highlight of her year was the Vanuatu mission trip, which she took part in during the July holidays of this year. Mashana plans to study photography at UCOL next year. She receives an award for the highest grade in photography, which comes with $50. Mashana Engu is a graduate of LAC in 2016 with excellence. Bradley Goldstone. Bradley joined the LAC family this year and has been involved in a variety of activities. He participated in Relay for Life and spoke on a PR trip in Rotorua. He is also vice president on the graduating committee. He recently went on the Avondale College orientation trip and was a great ambassador for LAC. Bradley plans to go to Avondale College of Higher Learning to pursue business studies. Bradley Goldstone is a graduate of LAC in 2016 with merit. Mariah Kennelly. Mariah also joined the LAC boarding family this year. She's been a great asset to the school and is on the graduation committee as a vice president. She helped organize the Leavers hoodies. Mariah participated in a variety of sporting events, which included the cross country, where she came second, took part in the discus and placed third, as well as the triathlon and snow trip hosted by the PE department. Mariah is going to do a pre-nursing course at ARA Institute in Canterbury. She receives awards for general excellence in art and religious studies,
Mariah Kennelly is a graduate of LAC in 2016 with merit. Libby Shepherd. Libby has been at LAC for 3 years. Libby is on the grad committee as a vice president as well. She has had an integrated learning program where she has made positive progress in her own development. Libby is a member of Special Olympics Manawatu. She has represented the Manawatu in a national event in the Hawke's Bay, where she placed first in the 25-meter backstroke event. Libby will be studying hairdressing at UCOL next year. She receives an award for consistent effort in spec and home economics. She also receives an award for completing the spec Teenage Decisions Unit, and overall an NZQA National Certificate in Work and Community Skills. Libby Shepherd has gained a Supported Learning Certificate and is a graduate of LAC in 2016. Connie Abbott. Connie came to LAC this year with an active interest in visual arts. She registered for scholarship photography and has produced some excellent work. She was also involved in Relay for Life. Connie is planning to do a fine arts degree at Massey University in Wellington. Connie Abbott is a graduate of LAC in 2016 with merit. Jerome Afoa. Jerome has been at LAC for 4 years. He has been an active participant in volleyball and went to volleyball nationals in Wellington. He played piano for praise and worship. He also played violin in the principal's concert and the soirees. I think I should pause here. Arts section in the Pacifica Fusion. He also gave his testimony in the chapel and participated in CRE, teaching Bible in schools. He was the head boy for this year. He recently went to Avondale College on the orientation trip and was a great ambassador for LAC. Jerome plans to study secondary teaching at Avondale College in Australia. He receives awards for consistent effort in classical studies. He also receives a trophy for significant contribution to the music department. He also receives an all-round legend ribbon for sports, in which he showed general excellence and commitment through practices, teamwork, and cooperation. Jerome Afoa is a graduate of LAC in 2016 with merit. Hazel Aretha. Hazel has been at LAC for 5 years. She has been on the senior girls basketball team. She also spent the July holidays in Vanuatu on a mission trip. Hazel plans to study nursing at Massey University next year. She, Hazel Aretha, is a graduate of LAC in 2016. Ben Orkram. Ben Orkram has been at LAC for 5 years. Ben has been involved in Relay for Life and has assisted the graduation team committee to help make this weekend possible. He was also involved in the week of worship as an MC. Ben will be studying zoology at Massey University. He receives awards for general excellence in religious studies and consistent effort in art. He also receives the Year 13 Bible Excellence Cup for the student who demonstrates a growing relationship with Jesus Christ through critical thinking about the world and their own beliefs, as well as an exemplary attitude to the content of the class. This comes with a trophy. Ben Orkram is a graduate of LAC in 2016 with excellence. Kirsty Bezuidenhout. Kirsty has been at LAC for 5 years. In that time, she has helped with the 40-hour famine and in the Relay for Life. She also helped with the Weet-Bix Triathlon. Kirsty's future plans are to study at Otago University. Kirsty Bezuidenhout is a graduate of LAC in 2016 with excellence. Mark Brock. Mark has been at LAC for 5 years. He is a deep thinker, and engaging with him in conversation is always a pleasure. Mark plans to do quantity surveying at UCOL. He receives an award for general excellence in photography. Mark Brock is a graduate of LAC in 2016 with excellence. Ben Curtis has been at LAC for 7 years. He has been a team player on the senior boys football team. Ben plans to pursue an apprenticeship in fabrication engineering next year. He receives an award for consistent effort in physics. Ben Curtis is a graduate of LAC in 2016. Megan Curtis. Megan Curtis has been at LAC for 7 years. She has been a big part of the farming and agricultural course for the last 3 years. Equine studies is another of her strengths. Megan plans to work in the agricultural industry next year, and I suspect she will do very well. Megan Curtis receives a vocational pathway certificate and is a graduate of LAC in 2016. Hosea Dastillo. Hosea has been at LAC for 4 years. He played the drums for the praise and worship band. He has been an active participant in the senior boys basketball team. Hosea is going to study engineering at Massey University next year. Hosea receives a medal for senior boys basketball. Hosea Dastillo is a graduate of LAC in 2016. Yahaila Dastillo. Yahaila has been at LAC for 4 years as well. She participated in the Relay for Life and was a choir member for 2 years. She was a part of the Christian hip-hop dance group and the LAC Creative Expression group. Yahaila took part in CRE, teaching Bible in schools. Yahaila plans to study psychology and education at Massey University. Yahaila Dastillo is a graduate of LAC in 2016. Rowan Dixon. Rowan has been at LAC for 3 years. He was a part of the school choir. Rowan plans to study an electrical trade at UCOL. Rowan Dixon is a graduate of LAC in 2016 with merit. Emily Holden. Emily Holden was new this year and has grown in confidence and ability. She was a part of the Relay for Life team. Emily plans to study a general science degree at Massey University next year. She receives awards for being the most improved in English and consistent effort in mathematics. Emily Holden is a graduate of LAC in 2016. Desiree Ann Immerlane. Deanne, as we affectionately call her, has been at LAC for 7 years. She has been a part of the senior badminton team. She received the Dean's Award this year as well. She was a song leader in the Praise and Worship Band and led out in Week of Worship. She participated in the soiree and the Vanuatu charity concert, sharing her gift of singing there. One of her highlights this year was going on the Vanuatu mission trip. Deanne plans to travel to the Philippines next year. Deanne receives awards for being the most valuable player in the senior girls badminton, for which she also came first. This comes with a medal. Desiree Ann Immerlane is a graduate of LAC in 2016. Tristan Ireland. Tristan has been at LAC for 6 years. He was a sports prefect, and this was apt as he performed exceedingly well in the sporting arena, coming first in the cross-country run, the 400 and 1500 metre run. He has also played an active part in the senior boys football team. Tristan receives an award for consistent effort in physical education. He also receives an all-round legend ribbon which shows general excellence and commitment through practices, teamwork and cooperation. Tristan receives the male cross-country trophy for a student with the fastest time in the long run. Tristan Ireland is a graduate of LAC in 2016. Lillian Kaiwai. Lillian has had a fun-filled 7 years here at LAC. She was on the Praise and Worship team as a song leader in the Week of Worship. She participated in the Principal's Concert and sang in the soiree. She was on the Leavers Banquet Committee and took part in the Pacifica Fusion through dance. Lillian plans to attend the New Zealand School of Tourism and study to be a flight attendant. Lillian Kaiwai is a graduate of LAC in 2016. Ashton Line. Ashton joined us this year. He participated in the swimming sports day and came second in the backstroke event. He also performed in the soiree and the last chapel program of the year. When asked what committee he belonged to, he wrote, "I was committed to turning up at least once a week." Ashton plans to pursue something in music in the future. Ashton receives a certificate for participating and completing a communications and leadership course last term hosted by the Learning Place in the Manawatu. Ashton Line is a graduate of LAC in 2016. Caleb Lyons. Caleb has been at LAC for 5 years. He participated in the athletics day and came first in the 100 metre, the student teacher relay and the house relay, coming first equal in that. Caleb plans to attend Massey University studying sport and exercise with a major in exercise prescription and training. Caleb Lyons is a graduate of LAC in 2016. Sione Ma'u. Sione has been at LAC for 7 years. Sione has strengths at Lion Sports. He was a house volleyball team and played second division basketball. Sione was on the senior boys football team as well. During the July break, Sione went to Vanuatu on a mission trip, the highlight, I imagine, of his year. Sione plans to enroll in Auckland University of Technology to study engineering. He receives awards for being the most valuable player in the senior boys volleyball team, which comes with a medal, and being on the senior boys basketball team, which also comes with a medal. Sione Ma'u is a graduate of LAC in 2016. Connor Malaquin. Connor has been at LAC for 3 years. He took part in the cross country as well as participated in the triathlon and attended the snow trip as part of the PE course. Connor also is musical and played bass for the soiree. Yuko will be blessed with his presence in the near future where he will study automotive engineering. Connor receives an award for the highest grade in music, for which he shares a trophy and receives $25. Connor receives a certificate of completion for communications and leadership course hosted by the Learning Place in the Manawatu. Connor Malaquin, it is my pleasure that you are a graduate of LAC in 2016. Hubert has been at LAC for 7 years. He has been an active part of the group affectionately known as the G4. Hubert is an admirable young man who has had significant challenges to work with. Hubert is planning to return to LAC for some transitional learning next year. He receives awards for consistent effort in computing, Bible and spec. He also receives a spec certificate in learning support where he has demonstrated an ability in key competencies. And overall, an NZQA National Certificate in Work and Community Skills. Hubert Fokadis has gained a supported learning certificate and is a graduate of LAC in 2016. Rachel Mensa. Rachel joined LAC 3 years ago and has been a consistently high achiever. She was on the senior girls football team and has held the record for cross-country short run for 2 years. Rachel receives awards for highest grade in art, which comes with $50, and a medal for the senior girls football team. Rachel Mensa is a graduate of LAC with excellence. Janielle Masters. Janielle is new to LAC this year as well. She was on the volleyball senior girls Pacifica Fusion through dance. She was also part of the Poly Choir and sang in the soiree a couple of weeks ago. Wow. I hope we'll be able to see her after this. Janielle wants to study at the New Zealand School of Tourism to be a flight attendant. Janielle receives an award for General Excellence in Tourism. Janielle Masters is a graduate of LAC in 2016. Keegan Mitchell. Keegan has been at LAC for 7 years. In this time, he has been an active member in the sports area. He was a part of the triathlon and tough girl, tough guy challenge as part of assessments for PE. He was the team leader on the Leaders Banquet Committee. He also entered the Manu Korero speech competition where he placed second overall and third for the impromptu category. Massey University will be pleased. Keegan receives awards for General Excellence in History and General Excellence in Religious Studies. Keegan Mitchell is a graduate of LAC in 2016 with merit. Barbara Morey. Barbara is an international student who has been with us for 4 years. In this time, she has been a part of the Senior Girls Volleyball A team and the Girls Sevens. She was a member of the Leavers Banquet Committee. Barbara took part in the Pacifica Fusion through dance and sang in the Poly Choir. Barbara wants to study geography at Massey University next year.
Yeah, Barbara.
Barbara Morey is a graduate of LAC in 2016. Catherine Napier. Catherine has been at LAC for 3 years. She was a house captain for Tyndale and was on the Girls Sevens team. She has been a key player on the Kapahaka school group, which was a combination of 3 schools in Palmerston North. One of the highlights of her year was going on the Vanuatu mission trip, where she found purpose in serving others. Catherine will be attending Horowhenua Learning Centre, where she will study exercise and sport performance. Catherine Napier is a graduate of LAC in 2016. Kyla Pucky. Kyla has been at LAC for 5 years. She was the hospitality and praise and worship prefect. She was on the senior girls volleyball team. Kyla was part of the CRE group, a program of sharing Bible in schools. As well as this, she also was a key leader on the Leavers Banquet Committee. She organized the student-led week of worship and participated in the praise and worship band. Kyla took part in the principal's concert as well. Kyla is planning to study nursing at UCOL next year. Kyla receives awards for highest grade in geography, which comes with $50, general excellence in religious studies. Kyla Pucky is a graduate of LAC in 2016 with merit. Will Peng. Will Peng is an international student who has been at LAC for 5 years. When Will arrived at LAC, the language was a significant barrier to his learning, but he has progressed positively over the course of those years, and look at him standing here. Will was a willing participant on the Year 13 camp, He plans to study at the University of Tasmania doing furniture design. Will Peng is a graduate of LAC in 2016. Diana Pullman. Diana has been at LAC for 7 years. She organised the Relay for Life group and the parables for her house. She was involved with the Operation Christmas Child shoeboxes as well. Diana played the flute in both the principal's concert and the soiree. Diana received the Dean's Award for service to others this year. Diana will be studying educational psychology at Massey University next year. She receives awards for highest grade in classical studies and mathematics, which each come with $50. General excellence in English and religious studies, most improved in chemistry. Diana also receives the Mathematics Cup for the highest number of excellence credits. Diana Pullman is a graduate of LAC in 2016 with excellence. Andrew Shearman. This young man sets before us a great example. Despite the significant health challenges he faces, Andrew keeps pushing forward. He challenges us in a positive and Christ-like way as he upholds our school motto, lead with integrity, act with respect, and cultivate resilience. Andrew receives awards for consistent effort in Bible, spec, and computing. He also receives a spec certificate in learning support where he has demonstrated ability in the key competencies of the New Zealand curriculum. Andrew Shearman has gained a supported learning certificate and is a graduate of LAC in 2016. Victoria Jane Reid. Victoria Jane has been at LAC for 7 years. She has been a bus and library prefect, which also included fundraising. Victoria Jane has organised her house parables, Operation Christmas Child, and helped with the Week of Worship icebreakers. With that, she participated in the Relay for Life and assisted at the Weet-Bix Triathlon. Victoria Jane plans to study chemistry at Massey University next year. She receives awards for highest grade in chemistry, biology, physics, English, and religious studies. Each of these subjects comes with $50, so you can do the math. Victoria Jane also gains general excellence in mathematics. Victoria Jane also receives a science award for the top student in all 3 sciences, which comes with, wait for it, $200. Victoria Jane Reid is a graduate of LAC in 2016 with excellence. Nigel and Robin. Nigelin is an international student who has been in boarding at LAC for 2 years. She was a part of the senior girls volleyball team. She took part in the Pacifica Fusion, participated in the dance category. Nigelin was a Polynesian choir member and presented an item in the soiree. Nigelin will enroll in Victoria University in Wellington to study political science. She receives an award for general excellence in geography. Nigelin Robin is a graduate of LAC in 2016. Eden Smith. Eden is new this year as well. He placed first in the shorter cross-country race. He also comes from a sporting background as well. He represented New Zealand at the Oceania Speed Championships in the under-19s inline speed roller skating, where he placed third in the marathon event. For this, he receives recognition by Sports Manawatu with a silver fern and a certificate. This indeed is a great accomplishment. Eden plans to work as a beekeeper. I wasn't too sure whether he was joking or whether he was... But that is his plan. Eden Smith is a graduate of LAC in 2016. Taylor Smith. Taylor has been with us for 6 years. She played senior girls badminton and was in the choir. Taylor took part in CRE, a program of sharing Bible in schools. She took the initiative to run a teen ag club with New Zealand young farmers. Taylor plans to study agriculture at Taratahi Agricultural Training Centre in the Wairarapa. Taylor receives awards for highest grade in tourism, which comes with $50. She also receives the Star Award, which shows excellence in her course area. She receives the Year 13 Sanitarium IT Award, which comes with $100. Taylor Smith is a graduate of LAC in 2016. Jade Stricko. Jade has been a boarder at LAC for 3 years. She was the head girl for this year and a library prefect. She involved herself in all the programs attached to that, like fundraising and organising. She ran the Week of Worship Icebreakers and presented a speech to the school at the last chapel program. Jade participated in a triathlon and went on the snow trip run by the PE department. She recently went on the Avondale College orientation trip and was a great ambassador for LAC. Jade plans to study nursing at Avondale College of Higher Learning next year. Jade Stricko, you are a graduate of LAC in 2016 with merit. Shekinah Tesese. In her 5 years as a boarder at LAC, Shekinah has been an active participant. She was in the senior girls volleyball and participated in the Pacifica Fusion. She led the Polynesian choir and presented items of piano and song in the soiree, principal's concert, and week of worship. She was also a song leader in the praise and worship band. Shekinah plans to study psychology at Victoria University in Wellington. Shekinah Tesese is a graduate of LAC in 2016. Declan Van Oostveen. Declan has been at LAC for 5 years. He also was a part of CRE, a program of sharing Bible in schools, which probably was particularly special for him as he was doing it back in his old school. Declan participated in the SDA basketball tournament. As well as this, he participated in the basketball nationals this year. He was a house captain for the winning house, Wesley. He recently went on the Avondale College orientation trip and was a good ambassador for LAC. Declan plans to study teaching at Avondale College of Higher Learning next year. Declan receives a medal for being on the winning senior boys basketball A grade team. Declan Van Oostveen, you are a graduate of LAC in 2016. Benjamin Higgins. Benjamin has been at LAC for 7 years. He has been a great asset to the school with a thoughtful attitude to whomever he comes in contact with. Ben has been a valuable member of the G4 group where he's made some lasting friendships. Benjamin is planning to return to LAC for some transitional learning. Benjamin receives an award for consistent effort in computing, Bible, and spec. He also receives a spec certificate in learning support where he has demonstrated an ability in key competencies. And overall, an NZQA National Certificate in Work and Community Skills. Benjamin Higgins has gained a Supported Learning Certificate and is a graduate of LAC in 2016. Victoria Vivian. Yeah, Victoria! Victoria has been at LAC for 4 years. She has been a part of the LAC choir, as well as performed items in the soiree. She came on the Year 13 camp, and I want to highly commend her for completing the Tongariro crossing, despite her misgivings about it. Victoria plans to study early childhood education at UCOL next year. Victoria Vivian, you are finally a graduate of LAC in 2016 with merit. Jacob Y. Jacob has been at LAC for 4 years. In that time, he has been an invaluable asset to the music department. He has played the piano for a number of musical events, such as prize-giving soirees, Week of Worships. He received the Dean's Award this year, which highlighted a number of his strengths: determination, consistent work ethic, and his sharing of his musical abilities. Jacob is going to Massey University to study teaching. That's what I heard for now. Jacob receives awards for highest grade in music, which comes with a shared trophy and $25. He receives general excellence in physics, consistent effort in chemistry, and most improved in religious studies. He also receives a medal for piano studies in Year 13. Jacob Y is a graduate of LAC in 2016 with excellence. Andrew Waitokia. In his 5 years at LAC, Andrew has shown some wonderful strides in his confidence. Seeing him at the head of the fast group on the Tongariro crossing made us wonder if Andrew really was as quiet as we thought. Well done, Andrew. Andrew plans to go to UCOL and study Information and Communications Technology next year. Andrew receives an award for consistent effort in English and physics. Andrew Waitokia is a graduate of LAC in 2016. Tamatoa Warren Pugh. Tamatoa has been aboard at LAC for 4 years. In this time, he participated in Week of Worships in the House Parables competition. He also went on the Vanuatu mission trip, which he found most rewarding. His strengths lie in sports. He went to the volleyball nationals with the New Zealand secondary schools and took part in the SDA volleyball tournament. One of Tamatoa's highlights of the year was going on the Vanuatu mission trip. Tamatoa plans to study theology at Avondale College of Higher Learning in Australia. Tamatoa receives a certificate for the most improved player in the senior boys volleyball team. Tamatoa, you are here and I'm proud of you. You are a graduate of LAC in 2016. been with us for, as she wrote very specifically, 6.4 years. Very specific as only Bethany can be. She was a photography prefect and was in charge of the end-of-term slideshows. She gave a speech in chapel, sharing her testimony through that. Bethany has a swimming background and has performed excellently both in and out of school. Bethany plans to go to UCole to study nursing. She receives awards for highest grade in PE, which comes with $50, consistent effort in biology. She also receives the female swimming trophy for the most number of race wins. This comes, of course, with a trophy. Bethany Wilson is a graduate of LAC in 2016 with excellence. Talia Ray. Talia has been at LAC for 2 years. In this time, she has made strides in her own personal journey. Coming from a different educational system has been a challenge, but she has made it. Talia will be taking a gap year next year to decide what she would like to do for her tertiary studies. Talia Ray. Talia Ray is a graduate of LAC in 2016. I'd like to invite Mr. Danny Carrasco. I can see you in the back there. And thank you, Mr. Graham. Mr. Van Oostveen, you can still keep standing. Thank you. It's come time for the special awards section of the evening, and there are some really hard-working students amongst our group over here. And for this, they will receive, a few of them will receive a few of these special awards. They are highly valued awards here at the school, so let's take note. Right, the first award, and yes, I will continue anyway, is the Pacifica Award. I'd like to give this opportunity to Tilia. Is Tilia here in the audience? Yes, this Pacifica Award, or the trophy, is significant for Tilia's family. Her uncle, whose family had made and designed this trophy in the Cook Islands, was the SDA principal after 15 years in Paparoa SDA school, and he passed away quite suddenly last year. And the trophy embraces all of these Pacifica Island nations. This award goes to the student who has made the most significant contribution to Pacifica through areas such as leadership, academics, sports, and service. The student is a role model to others and displays a commitment to Pacifica culture. They have raised the profile of Pacifica at Longburn Adventist College. This award comes with a trophy and $100 cash. This year's Pacifica Award and $100 goes to Olita Sakona, who is not here, but we will applaud her anyway. Next award, a highly valued award at this school, is the Citizenship Award, which comes with $100, a certificate, and a trophy. It is awarded to a student in each year level who exhibits the qualities implicit in the school's principles by cooperation with staff and peers, taking initiative, community involvement, social and spiritual maturity, personal grooming, and positive contribution to the school. This award, as I said, is a highly valued one because it encompasses everything that we believe in at this school. And it's my pleasure this evening to award this Citizenship Cup and $100 to Kyla Paki. The New Zealand Pacific Union Conference General Excellence Award is issued to one of our Year 13 students who exhibits excellence in a range of areas, an excellent all-rounder. They have shown excellence academically and in sport and have been involved in spiritual and cultural endeavours. They also need to be able to get along well with their peers and authoritative figures, relating in personal and social situations with respect, integrity and community spirit. The winner of this award, which also comes with $500, a trophy and a certificate, goes to Jessica Carthew. The Paul Rampton Award. Now, Paul Rampton worked at LAC as an assistant accountant from 2001 to 2005. Paul was remembered as being of a quiet nature with a dedication to helping others, a willingness that took him beyond the call of duty. The Paul Rampton Trophy comes with a trophy and a certificate and a $50 voucher. It is awarded to a Year 13 student who has willingly and selflessly helped others without drawing attention to him or herself throughout the year. This year, the winner of the Paul Rampton Trophy is Olita Sakona, who is not with us this evening, but let's applaud her. Now, LAC would not be the same without the boarding department. They are an integral part of this school. And I'd like to invite Mrs. Henry, Mrs. Maria Henry, Director of LAC House, to come up and present these trophies and certificates.
Good evening, esteemed guests, Dr. Lindsay Morton, Mr. Graham Drinkle, Mr. Dan Carrasco, school board members, LAC staff, parents, caregivers of student boarders, families, friends and class of 2016. LAC House is the boarding establishment at Longburn Adventist College, supported by the New Zealand Pacific Union Conference of the Seventh-day Adventist Church in Aotearoa, New Zealand. Every year, recognition is given in the form of a trophy and $50 cash to the top girl and top boy boarder for their outstanding and dedicated contribution to the boarding program at weekends and assistance with duties in each dormitory. It is our privilege and best wishes that we award the Boarding Girls Dorm Trophy and $50 to Ms. Shekinah Tesese. Of course, the boarding establishment would not be complete without the boys' dormitory. And the boys' dorm trophy and $50 cash for 2016 goes to Mr. Jerome Afua. Congratulations to both of you, and particularly to families and both pastors, Pastor Joe and Pastor Cho, for sending your children over the past 5 years as student boarders at LAC House. God bless.
We'll now move on to the scholarships. We have a variety of scholarships that have come in, and we are just extremely proud of these students. The New Zealand School of Tourism has awarded a scholarship this year worth $500 towards any full-time course they offer in 2017. This is awarded to the student who has shown outstanding ability in tourism. This year we have 2 recipients of this award who have the 2016 Tourism Students of the Year and who will receive those 2 scholarships. These 2 students are Lillian Kaiwai and Janiel Masters. Massey University also has 2 scholarships that they have given out this year. The first scholarship is titled the Massey University High Achiever Scholarship, an academic scholarship, and this year Victoria Jane Reid will receive that. The second scholarship that Massey University has awarded is to a particularly appropriate student for this scholarship, the Massey Business School Future Leaders Scholarship. And this scholarship goes to Keegan Mitchell. University of Otago also awards scholarships, as you probably well know, and tonight it's my privilege to pass on this scholarship. It is a University of Otago Vice Chancellor's scholarship worth $10,000. It's significant. And Kirsty Besaden-Hout, come on up. I am just wondering if Emma Carey is here tonight. No? Still? Okay, thank you. All right, anyway, for Emma, she has also just received a scholarship. She was a student here last year and she took a gap year, not a gap year, she was working in the UK. But she has been awarded the University of Otago Leaders of Tomorrow Entrance Scholarship, valued at $6,000. So when you see her next, please send her to school. Thank you. All right. I'd like to hand this time over to Dr. Lindsay Morton, who will present the Avondale Scholarship Awards and say a few words.
The Avondale Service and Leadership Scholarship is awarded to 7 students in Australia and 3 students in New Zealand who have demonstrated leadership or service skills throughout different aspects of their life during their time at high school or secondary school. This scholarship is worth up to $5,000 throughout the duration of a course at Avondale College. And tonight it is with great pleasure that I present this Avondale Service and Leadership Scholarship to Jade Stricko. Just before I present this one, on behalf of Avondale College of Higher Education, I'd like to thank Longbourn Adventist College for allowing us to be part of this evening's program. Thank you very much. The Avondale President's Scholarship is one of Avondale's most highly regarded scholarships. It is awarded to students from selected secondary schools throughout Australia and New Zealand who have demonstrated a rare combination of leadership, academic excellence, and service to their school and family, church and community. The scholarship is worth up to $8,000 throughout the duration of a degree course and is presented with a certificate, a letter from Avondale's president and a $100 cheque. And tonight, it is also with great pleasure that I present this Avondale President's Scholarship to Bradley Goldstone.
is the Dux Award. And I do need Mr. Van up here and Mr. Carrasco. Thank you. The Dux is awarded to a student with the top number of excellence credits and who demonstrates academic excellence in a range of subjects. There is a runner-up to acknowledge their sustained effort and very high-level performance throughout their time here at LAC. And this year, the runner-up Dux is Diana Pullman. And now for the Dux of 2016. The student most likely to excel in NCA Level 3, receiving a trophy, certificate, $100 cash, and course fee scholarships worth $5,000 to Otago University and $6,000 to Canterbury University. This evening, it is my pleasure to reward this to Victoria Jane Reid. This brings us to the close of this section of awards. Thank you, Mr. Carrasco. Mr. Brendan Van Oostveen, this will be your time to hand out those special awards that you have.
Mr. Sharp said to me that I would only ever get to choose one thing in the year, and that was going to be the 3 Principals Awards at the end of graduation, or towards the end of graduation. Bruce, that's not true. Mrs. Aono came into my office and she had her 5 cents worth. But it's interesting when you reflect about what is it that you're looking for. What do you want to honour? I know many of you very personally. And for those of you that are a little bit extroverted like myself, I put you to one side because there is a certain degree of respect that I have for the person that quietly does it. And so for 3 people that I've selected tonight, there's something very special about you that I would like to have. And so before I do that, I want to acknowledge 2 groups. And first of all, I want to acknowledge G4. I said to you earlier in my speech that I'd come back to this. G4 is a unique group, and I'd like them to stand, please. This group of 4 people have faced challenges that many of us would find difficult to comprehend. It is with huge respect and honour that they have made it to graduation and achieved their goals. I have shared with the school many times, excellence is not a standard. Excellence is doing the best with what you have and the circumstances you have. And I want to pay honour and homage to you, but stay standing. There is another group that I want to show respect to, and I'd like to ask all the scholarship students to stand up. These students didn't have to, but they chose to. Connie asked me earlier in the year, she said, why would I do this? Don't all teenagers ask that question? And I suggested to her it's to maybe push the boundaries. Maybe it's to find out what we're capable of. I don't know whether you will pass or fail in scholarship, but I know that you have pushed your personal boundaries. And now you have an opportunity to consider what is possible. I don't have enough iPads to give these people, but what I do have, and I'm not sure if this is actually a good thing for you or not, but I do have an invitation for you to come to my place for a barbecue. So you might want to consider that. excellence is not a standard. The first person that I want to acknowledge is a boy who has quietly gone through the school. He has gone through the school in a way that almost on his own parallel universe. I failed the triangle at school and they took my recorder off me. This is a boy who can play a piano very, very well. And his results this year have gone well beyond what he achieved in year 12. He is not doing the coolest thing in the school. He is not dunking a basketball. He's not some sort of cheerleader. He's doing one of the most uncool things of all, classical piano. And all the mothers love it, but his peers, maybe not so much. So Jacob Y, I'd like you to come up and the second person that I want to acknowledge is a member of G4. I remember him on Year 9 camp. I remember him facing the giants. I remember sitting with him at a table. He'd had one biscuit and he so desperately wanted a second. And he asked me, he said, "Can I have a second biscuit?" And I said to him, "It's your choice, but you already know the answer." And he said, "Yes, I'm not allowed, am I?" Benjamin Higgins. Just following on a little bit from Ben, or about Ben, it was interesting, we were watching a video as a staff, and it was a YouTube clip about a boy who opened doors at a school. And he opened doors and it became this sort of culture in the school. And I was sitting there going, well, we've already got Ben Higgins. So Ben, I thank you from the bottom of my heart for the influence you've had on the values of this cohort. I want to acknowledge that. The third person that I want to acknowledge is someone who has quietly gone about her business. She is someone who has sought no public praise. She is someone that is totally reliable and dependable. She is someone who does not know how much she has to offer. She is someone who I have the utmost respect for, and I wish she would understand that for herself. She is a special person. Kyla Paki.
To announce the 2017 Head Boy and Head Girl. But before we do that, I want to pay homage to this year's prefects and to our Head Boy and Head Girl just for the selfless sacrifice and service that they have given to the school for excellent, role modelling of what leadership is. So I'd like to invite Jerome Afoa, our Head Boy, and Jade Striker, our Head Girl, to come forward, please. Right, as I only fitting at this time that they actually get to announce the names. So they don't know them yet, they're about to find out. And in that way they get to pass on the mantle of leadership.
Hi everyone. So the head girl of 2017 is Chalcedony Gali.
The head boy for 2017, Nicholas, can you come?
Our 2017 leaders to share with you.
Oh wow, okay. Well, all that standing was worth it. And your influence on me has been amazing over the past few years. So Mr. Van told us prefects try to speech so that whoever gets up here has something to say, and I have the great privilege of presenting it to you tonight. It took me a while to actually decide what verse I wanted to share with you, but I have decided a verse that I've actually been dwelling on for the entire year. And it's found in Matthew 19, verse 26, and it reads, "But Jesus looked at them and said, 'With men this is impossible, but with God all things are possible.'" We've all heard verses like this similar, saying that God will help us whatever we do and in all things. But most of us believe that the key word in this verse is all, but I don't think so. I believe I'm able to achieve all those things. Opportunities I never thought would rise have come to me. It was only with God that I was able to experience the Vanuatu trip, and it's only with God that I was able to cope with this crazy busy year. And right now, all of you are witnessing God's goodness and faithfulness, because it's only with God I stand here today as head girl. I mean, in year 9 asked me if I wanted to be head girl, and I would have been and aspirations that you begin to realise. Release all your potential that's inside of you and really enjoy it all. And I'd like to thank everyone here tonight. Thank you for the teachers for believing in me. And I'm very excited for what the next year has to bring.
What a night, what a weekend. Thank you, my brothers from the domes, for the haka. Thank you for showing the respect and the love. I appreciate it. Good night to everyone here. Greetings, one and all. First, staff members who have recognized my qualities and the ability to influence many in the school during the past 10 months I've been here. And I humbly appreciate it, and I thank you all for that. I personally admire many people in our school and our communities that turn from an unsatisfactory habit or lifestyle into a new one, into an outstanding citizen in society. It gives me great pleasure and makes me even happier to be a part of change in someone's life. And the year 13s are living for another chapter in life, and I want to take this time to talk about something that helps us to reflect and transform into someone better in our lives. And you may be wondering what that something is. It's an everyday term we use. It's called change. Now, there are many types of change. There could be physical changes, emotional changes, character changes, or psychological changes. I was reading through the Bible, searching for a verse to share tonight. I didn't know who was going to be head boy because there was 3 prefects chosen, but thank you, Lord, I stand here. I was reading through the Bible, searching for a verse, and I came across a verse in the book of Romans that paused me for a second. And Romans chapter 12, verse 2 says, "Do not change yourselves to be like people of this world, but let God change you inside with a new way of thinking. Then you will be able to understand and accept what God wants for you." And this verse moved me, and it intrigues me because it states something that we all as humans, we share. That is the fear of judgment from people around us on our self-image. We are forced to change because of people, and this narrows down our capability to reach the full potential of our abilities. But the Bible shows us another way out. It says, let God change you inside with a new way of thinking. When you allow God to change you, He will lead us. I believe an exceptional number of us here at LAC and also the graduating class of 2016 have had an amazing and life experience. I've also seen some of my friends go into the water of baptism this year. Thank you everyone who have voted for me, and I'm privileged in order to be part of the engine here at LAC that continues to empower young lives and change them. Ultimately, for better or worse, the power lies within you to make the best in your future. And I want to wish Christmas is around the corner, so wish all the families here, may God bless your families, and may you all have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Thank you.
Congratulations to our newbies for next year, and also just our heartfelt thanks to this year's leaders. Let's just give one more round.
Good evening and welcome to all of you here tonight. Parents, grandparents, aunties and uncles, cousins, staff, and of course our graduating class of 2016. My name is Jessica Carthew, and I'm the to acknowledge and address the graduating class that is seated before you tonight. Like me, I know we all feel like this moment has come much too fast. But we are here to be celebrated tonight as our high school days have come to an end. I would also like to take this time to thank you all for the happiness and the friendship you have all provided me with over the years. It has been and is an honour to be a part of such a supportive and loving Year 13 family. As this is our graduation, I wanted to leave you all with a little piece of important advice and guidance that I heard in a speech and thought worth repeating. Today, my friends, we still face difficult days ahead. We still have work to do, mountains to climb, and because we know they won't get easier, life's challenges. But they will become more intricate and tricky. But when life's complexities confuse us, when the paradoxical ironies of existence surprise us, and we are troubled by the uncontrollable external entities, both spiritual and physical, we must remember our ABCs. No, not the alphabet of our English language, but the ABCs of life. And once we've learnt them, we should take them with us as we let our lives do the singing. We should take the A and accept the challenge, the B and believe in ourselves, the C and convert our thoughts into hopes, and the D, the determination to convert our hopes. A up and F, fight while being faithful and finish the course. We should G, get God on our side, and H, have a halving model of leadership. We should I, inspire someone else, and J, take Jesus on our journey. We should K, keep on keeping on, and L, be a leader to those around us. We should M, make every day count, and N, never give up no matter what. We must O, overcome our obstacles, and P, put our best foot forward always. We must Q, quit quitting, and R, run the race with patience. We must S, strive on while trusting in the Lord with all our hearts. We should U, use our talents, and V, value our time. We should W, wait for the understanding, and X, X-ray our own lifestyles. We should Y, yearn to achieve all that we seek, and Z, be zealous in reaching the top. Yes. Yes, we can reach the top. We can and we will. Now, I'd like to take this time to extend the gratitude of the Year 13 graduates, the LAC staff, and I, to a significant person who has contributed hugely to the school and its pupils over the space of many years. Mr. Walsh has been teaching LAC for over 13 years and has had a significant influence on all the students that are graduating today. I'm sure all the Year 13s can agree with me when I say that Mr. Walsh has been a strong foundation of guidance and encouragement for all of us graduating today, especially in our final year when we needed it the most. I would also like to say a personal thank you to Mr. Walsh for contributing largely and aiding the graduation committee. We really couldn't have done this without you. Now I'd like to invite Mr. Walsh up on stage to award him with a small gift of appreciation from the Year 13 graduating class of 2016. As our Youth Leading Dean this year. We love you all.
I used to bite my tongue and hold my breath, scared to rock the boat and make a mess. So I said quietly, agreed politely. I guess that I forgot I had a choice. I let you push me past the breaking point. I stood for nothing, so I fell for everything.
You held me down, but I got up, already brushing off the dust. You hear my voice, you hear that sound, like thunder gonna shake the ground. You held me down, but I got up. Get ready, cause I've had enough. I see it all, I see it now.
I got the eye of the tiger, fighter, dancing through the fire, cause I am a champion.
And you're gonna my own hero.
You held me down when I got up, already brushing off the dust. You hear my voice, you hear that sound, like thunder gonna shake the ground.
You held me down when I got up. Get ready, cause I've had enough. I see it all, I see it now.
I got the eye of the tiger, fighter, dancing through the fire, cause I am a champion.
And you're gonna hear me roar, louder, louder than a lion, cause I am a champion. And you're gonna hear me roar. You're gonna hear me roar. I got the eye of the tiger,
Fighter,
dancing through the fire,
cause I am a champion.
you're gonna hear me roar. Louder,
Lion, cause I am a champion.
you're gonna hear me roar. You're gonna hear me You'll hear me You're gonna hear me
Come with me and obey in a world of pure imagination. Take a look and you'll see into your imagination. We'll begin with a spin, traveling in a world of my creation. What we'll see will defy explanation. If you want to view paradise, simply look around and view it. Anything you want to do it. Want to change the world? There's nothing to it. There is no life I know to compare with pure imagination. Living there, you'll be free if you truly wish to be.
We'd just like to thank everyone here tonight for your support for this beautiful group of young people. They're in transition and they're going to need your prayers and your support in the years that come ahead. It's not easy shifting from the high school stage into the young adult stage. And year 13s, just remember that there's no need to fear. The power is with you. And tonight is a sacred moment when we will never be together again in this combination ever again. But I want us to make an appointment that one day when Jesus returns, we're going to be all together and we're going to remember this moment. is a pivotal moment. I'm just going to invite the staff to stand and put your hands together for our Year 13 graduates. And then we're going to ask the Year 13s to leave and go across to the cafeteria lounge where you can say your congratulations. You've persevered well tonight, but this group is worth it. Let us put our hands together, staff. My senility is showing. The principal's reminded me I'm supposed to say a prayer. Let's just bow our heads. Dear Lord, we just give this class of Year 13s, these 50 beautiful young people, into your hands. And we just want to thank their parents and their support groups tonight and their teachers. And that tonight we can commit to each other that we will see each other again is our prayer. This we ask in your name. Amen.
Now, just before you take off, I'd like Mr. Walsh to have the honour of leading the Year 13, and applaud for Mr. Walsh.
Most times I struggle, I reminisce about them hard times when money was tight. You taught me how